Hi there, Focus owners. Today we're going to be taking a look at the best flat tow options for your 2014 Ford Focus. There's 5 main components you'll need to flat tow your Focus. You'll need your tow bar, which is the connection point between your motorhome and your vehicle, your base plate, which provides a connection point where you'll attach your tow bar to your vehicle, your safety cables, which is a supplementary connection between the two, your diode wiring, which takes all of the lighting signals from your motorhome and transfers them to your vehicle so people behind you will know your intentions, and your braking system on your vehicle, which will assist it braking in addition to your motorhome so you can come to a safe stop. Now additionally, on your Focus you will need a battery disconnect switch as to get it into tow mode. You do have to disconnect the battery, but you're going to need a power supply for your braking system, so a battery disconnect will allow you to have that power for your braking system and disconnect the rest of the vehicle so you can flat tow it properly. For our tow bar, we're using Roadmaster's Falcon 2, and this is a perfectly fine tow bar for your Focus. This is going to be your economy style tow bar, as it's going to be non-binding, but you will require a tool to activate the non-binding buttons here. You can push them by hand, but it is very difficult, and in most cases when it's in a bind you'll need that tool. I highly recommend Roadmaster's Falcon all-terrain non-binding tow bar, as it has levers for your non-binding actuators on board, so you don't need any additional tools. And it also has channels underneath for all of your cables and wiring to keep it up off the road. Gives it a nicer appearance, and it just helps extend the life of all the rest of your components. For our base plate, we're using Roadmaster's Direct Connect base plate, and this is my preferred option because it has the smallest impact at the front of your vehicle as far as looks are concerned. It's just a small little hole here where your base plate connection pokes out. The arms here are removable so you can get a more factory look when you're not flat towing your vehicle. And it connects directly to a tow bar, so it's a little bit quicker of a setup. The non-direct connect style have a bar that goes across that you have to bolt to your base plate for your tow bar to connect, and those are just more work, they're more cumbersome, and they're more difficult to remove the arms here when you're not flat towing to get that factory look. For our safety cables, we're using Roadmaster's 68-inch safety cables, and in most cases this is going to be just fine. However, depending on your motorhome, you may need longer cables or to add some extensions to make it work properly. It just depends. If your motorhome sits too high, you may need to add high-low adapters or extensions to properly connect, and that may lengthen the distance between your motorhome and vehicle, but 68 inches is a good starting point if you don't need any of those components. Your diode wiring takes all the lighting signals from your motorhome and transfers them to the lights back on your vehicle. You can see here that the left turn signal is on in our motorhome, and it's also flashing here in sync on our vehicle. The diodes are installed permanently behind the lights, so you'll never have to worry about it again. You just simply plug them up and they're ready to use. And the diodes protect all the wiring on your vehicle, as they are a one-way check valve for electricity that only lets it flow in one direction. So this way, when we're sending signals from our motorhome up to our lights, it goes through the diode to the light, but it cannot go back to the rest of the wiring on our vehicle because of that check valve type design. We're using Roadmaster's diode wiring kit to get this all installed. This is my personal favorite, as the diodes are smaller, they're a little bit easier to install. You've got plenty of wiring length that comes in the kit. There are a few other options out there, such as magnetic mount lights that stick on top. Those are okay, but you have to set them up every time. It's not as quick and easy as just plugging this in. Plus, there's always the risk of potentially causing scratches or abrasions to the roof of your vehicle. Another option is a bulb and socket kit, where you can drill a hole in your taillight and add an additional bulb, which you would wire up. This is an okay option if you don't want to tap into any wiring on your vehicle whatsoever. However, the hole that you have to drill in your lights can be difficult to perform without causing any damage to the taillight. So if you're looking for the easiest option that's going to be there when you need it, I highly recommend the diode wiring. For our braking system, we're using Roadmaster's InvisiBrake, and this is a great option if your motorhome has typical hydraulic brakes. Another great option is SMI Stay In Duo. They operate very similarly. They're both going to be proportional braking systems. The big difference is where it mounts on the pedal. The InvisiBrake is going to have a remotely mounted actuating cylinder, which is going to give you a cleaner look at the pedal, where the SMI Stay In is going to connect directly to the pedal with the cylinder, which is going to be a little bit larger and more cumbersome. It's not going to look as nice. However, I do find the SMI kit is much easier to install than the InvisiBrake system. So if you're confident in your installation skills and you want that cleaner look, the InvisiBrake's a great option. But if you're more concerned with the operation of the unit and less with how it looks, then I highly recommend SMI Stay In Duo, as it's a easier unit to install and adjust than our InvisiBrake. Now, if your motorhome has air brakes, then I would recommend SMI's Air Force 1, as this is a proportional braking system that is designed specifically to work with air brake systems on your motorhome. It will take your air directly from your motorhome, and that air pressure that goes to your vehicle, it'll use that to appropriately apply the brake. And what I like about this system is that you can really feel the difference. When you're pressing the brake in your motorhome, the amount of pressure you're applying there is very similar to how it activates back on your vehicle. So if you have air brakes, that's really the cream of the crop, is your Air Force 1. Now, depending on your motorhome's height, you may need a high-low adapter because you want the angle from your hitch and the connection on your base plate to be relatively level. A good rule of thumb is 3 inches from center. So on ours, we're about 6 inches out, so we're using a 6-inch drop. And now if you look past where our drop is, we've got a completely level field all the way to our base plate. And this is what we want, as this is going to allow it to tow as smoothly as possible, and it's going to keep our tow bar from getting into a bind as often as it would if it was at an awkward angle. One of the reasons why I recommend SMI Stay In Play alongside our InvisiBrake is because the InvisiBrake sometimes requires additional components. On our Focus, to get it working properly, we do have to install a stop light switch on our brake pedal in order for the monitor light to work properly. If you don't want to have to purchase any additional components and you want that easier install, SMI Stay In Play Duo doesn't need this stop light switch. And that completes our look at the best flat tow options for your Ford Focus.